Anime Gypsy here with One Piece chapter 874 review. Now, during this week's chapter, there were three main points when it comes to story progression. The first point occurred during the segment where Big Mom is chasing Luffy and his crew. The second part occurred when we went to Big Mom's crew and we saw what they're up to and what they're planning. The third point is what we see Pudding doing when it comes to Chiffon and what she wants to do with the cake. Now, let's start with the first point. In the first point, there are three major things that happen. The first one, we see Big Mom's attack, Elbaf Spear. That attack was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. That thing destroyed everything in its path until it went off the island and hit a fucking boulder. I mean, that's something you'd expect off of Mihawk. Like that's almost like transcontinental, not transcontinental, trans-country attack. Like just it crosses a country and hits another one. Like Jesus fuck, like that's an incredible. Honestly, that's what we'd expect from a Yonko, and that's the sort of thing I want to see more of when I see Big Mom fight. Now, the second thing we see in that particular event that is significant is we see Nami being capable of manipulating people. King Balm, by convincing him to add a little step to his movement by reminding him of his fiancée, and manipulating Zeus. Let me repeat this. Nami manages to manipulate Zeus. Now, Oda did mention in a previous SBS that Nami is the second or third smartest person in the East Blue. Basically, the second and first were Kuro, and the first being Ben Beckman. But that aside, that is obviously a feat of intelligence from Nami that we haven't seen in quite a long time. But I'm kind of skeptical about the Zeus part. Now, we actually see her manipulate King Balm last chapter by convincing him that she has a Weaver card of Big Mom. Well, I'm pretty sure she doesn't. But that aside, the third major point, the third major thing that happened was that Prometheus killed King Balm, or at least I am 100%. Now, I am 100% sure that King Balm is dead. There is no way. There is no getting. No, that attack engulfed him with so much flames. He's cooked. Like no, like he's. I wouldn't be surprised if next chapter we see King Balm and he's just a bunch of ashes, because that's basically what it looks like it's gonna be. Now, after this, we move on to Big Mom's crew. And over there, we see something pretty incredible. We see small details that add a lot of characterization to certain characters. Now, the first one, this character didn't even say a word, but this solidifies something that I've been saying about this character. Daifuku is seen leading a group of over 10,000 men. Now, I have stated before, through little snippets, I have concluded that Daifuku is a natural-born leader. Therefore, he is basically put in charge of people. And we get to see that this chapter when he's standing right in front of 10,000 men and ready to basically lead an attack on the Straw Hats or Capone or whoever. Or the German, which he actually reported back on, which shows more of his leadership qualities. The second character we get characterization for is Mont d'Or. Now, Mont d'Or has been known for having a sort of skepticism and a good mind to him, and we see that when he was skeptical of what Opera was saying way back when, and when he explained how the world of books works, and how he was explaining the military might of Big Mom some chapters ago. Now, after those are the two major major character developments we get this. Well, not character developments, characterizations we get in this chapter. And the third major point that happened in this main story progression bit was Katakuri. Katakuri is now on the Sunny, and he's waiting for Luffy. That proves more than anything that he believes that Straw Hat might become a threat later on, that he has potential to surpass certain Yonko. Now, we have seen other characters put their hearts, give their hearts to Luffy, like admire Luffy and think of him as having a lot of potential. Even the Gorosei said that he had a lot of potential. And basically, this shows that Katakuri has experience to be able to judge something the same way the Gorosei did, which in a way adds characterization to Katakuri and basically tells us that Katakuri has a shit ton of analytical skills where he's able to analyze an individual and be able to determine if that individual is a threat or will become a threat later on. Now, that aside, the third and final story progression point has to do with everyone's favorite female heroine of this arc, Pudding. Fucking Pudding. Okay, honestly, Pudding's been flip-flopping so many times this chapter, I don't know what her main intention is. I honestly don't. But due to the fact that the Straw Hats are going to be alive by the end of this chapter, and we know this because obviously it's One Piece, and because there's the Wano arc coming up later on. Because of that, we could assume that she is actually on their side. But if they were like side characters in another story, I wouldn't be so sure about that. That aside, I actually think that the only way, and I repeat this again, the only way that the Straw Hats are getting out of this island alive is if Big Mom lets them. That's it. End of story. We see Montour way back in the other progression point I was talking about the island tarts and strategizing. And that's also obviously characterization for him because we see him being a strategist. This shows you how much more military power Big Mom has, and basically informs you that A, she doesn't actually need to be there to take the Straw Hats out. Her crew could do that for her. They have enough men at their disposal. Because you're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of men. And those aren't scrubs like the ones from Fishman Island either. Those are seasoned vets, and I'm pretty fucking sure that a lot of them fucking know hockey. It's the new world, it's a Yonko's crew, so obviously a lot of them know hockey, and we do see an example of this where the two guys, one of them was Oprah's brother, I believe, was using hockey to defeat Luffy, and it was like this weird ass name, Cream Punch or whatever. And that aside, so basically, I honestly think the only way they're getting out of this island alive is if Big Mom lets them, and I'm sure she will. I'm sure something will happen, and Katakuri will be told to stand down. And it's unfortunate because to me it shows that Sanji won't get any fight scenes. I'm sure he's gonna have a hand at making the cake and feeding Big Mom, but I really wanted to see Sanji pull a new move and show it off in his arsenal. I really wanted to see Sanji do some damage. I really wanted to see Sanji do some shit, but sadly we don't get to see Sanji doing anything, and that's why. Why are you shitting on our parade, Oda? That's what we were expecting. Granted, I like Zoro more than Sanji, but still, I like Sanji as a character. You shouldn't do that. At least show us a decent fight scene with Sanji. And yeah, we get a fight scene with Sanji. We get to see Sanji getting his ass whooped by his father. But that doesn't count, Oda, and you know it. What are you thinking, Oda? Okay. I am composed. Overall, this chap. Oh, and another point for characterization would go to Zeus being being easily manipulated by people, because he ends up being manipulated by Nami. Okay, that aside, this chapter is obviously not as good as the previous chapters, but that's to be expected. Not every chapter is going to be excellent, and it's just the way everything goes. If every chapter is excellent, no chapter would be excellent because they'd all be the same. That's just common sense. And overall, this chapter seems to focus more on story progression than anything else, and that's okay. Like, why not? And but I'm just gonna have to give it a average, lowish rating because there's a lot of things with the Nami Zeus situation that I don't think is really sorted out. Even though I do like that she's manipulating people because that is part of her persona, and because of that, I'll give this chapter a 2 out of 5. And that is the lowest I've ever rated a One Piece chapter, because this is the second review of One Piece I've ever done. Well, that aside, this chapter is a 2 out of 10. Oh, and by the way, what's the deal with the character poll pictures showing only 12 or 13? Will the other posters show more characters? Well, whatever. Leave your thoughts about this video down in the comments below, and please subscribe to my channel. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it, leave a thumbs down if you didn't, and please, please, please tune in to more videos. This is Anime Gypsy, and I'm out.